All rise. Support court with Judge Van B is now in session. Judge, this is case number JVB1078, McKinney case.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You all may be seated. Okay, Ms. McKinney,
Yes, ma'am.
you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Well, Your Honor, I am here to try to recoup costs that I've incurred with my daughter.
All right.
She's 9 years old. She's been with me since birth, and I'm paying for everything. I've been doing it all on my own,
All right.
without a problem, but I've been doing it all on my own.
All right. And when you say all on your own, Dad isn't helping out financially at all?
At all.
Okay. And you said your daughter's 9.
Yes.
Is she involved in any type of extracurricular activities? That word always messes me up.
Yes, ma'am. Basketball, track and field, and tennis.
All right. Does Dad pay for any of those?
No, ma'am.
How much are the fees associated annually with each one of those?
Annually, probably roughly $4,700.
That's a new one. So, it was more than a one-night stand, but not quite a relationship. Interesting defense. But here's the real issue. If you engage in a short-lived fling, does that mean you're off the hook for the consequences? Not. The law doesn't care if it was one night or a year. If you're the biological father, you're financially responsible. The judge is already catching on to this dodge, and trust me, it won't hold up much longer.
All right. Is Dad aware that she's in these activities?
Yes.
All right. The extracurricular activities, does he attend those?
No, Your Honor.
So he doesn't pay for those.
No.
So what is the backstory? I mean, she's 9, so were you all in a relationship previous?
Dad is already feeling sidelined just because the baby is getting attention. But parenting isn't a competition. Courts focus on financial and emotional support. The real question, is he here for the child, or is this about something else? Let's discuss.
Like what happened?
We were in a situationship for a weekend.
What in the world is that?
Well, it was a little bit more than a one-night stand. It lasted approximately 72 hours. I was on business in Washington, D.C., and he was there for a teacher's conference. I met him at a nightclub.
Ooh, I need to be careful what I ask.
Well, listen, the night grew long, and things happened within the next 72 hours. And so, yeah. That's the
Okay.
extent of it.
Okay. And you got pregnant?
Yes.
Okay. Was he involved in the pregnancy?
Well, he was definitely there.
Well, no, throughout your pregnancy.
Oh, throughout? No, ma'am.
Okay. So you just literally had the baby, no help from him, nothing like that. Did he show up at the hospital?
No, he was late.
Okay. So did you all have a DNA test done?
No.
Does he know he's the father?
He doesn't think that he is, and he's the only Caucasian that I've ever been with, so.
Okay. So that's where the issue lies then. He doesn't
Basically.
believe he's the father, which is why he hasn't given you any money.
But he sent text messages, and he sent happy birthdays, things
Okay.
of that nature. How is she doing? So I believe if he didn't care at all, he wouldn't send those text messages. Now, he's done that for the past 9 years. I've just never seen any greenbacks to follow those texts.
Okay. So when he arrived at the hospital, did he sign the acknowledgement of paternity?
No, Your Honor, when I meant he was late, the baby was already a week old at the time. I was already at home. We'd left the hospital. That's what I mean by late.
Oh, so he didn't show up at the hospital.
6 years together, and suddenly Dad feels neglected. But here's the truth. A baby changes everything. Instead of asking, how can I be a better parent? He's stuck on, what about me? Meanwhile, Mom is overwhelmed, maybe even dealing with postpartum depression. This is where many relationships struggle. One partner feels invisible, while the other is drowning. But does that justify a custody fight? Let's see how this unfolds. What's your take?
Hospital at all?
No, Your Honor.
So he didn't sign the birth certificate or any acknowledgement of paternity or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Hold up. He's never given a single dollar? Not even for school supplies, medical bills, or the $4,700 a year for extracurriculars? Yikes. And yet, Does he still send happy birthday texts? What is that? Emotional support payments? Look, text messages don't buy basketball gear or school lunches. If you acknowledge that the child exists in small ways, why not in the one way that matters financially? This judge is about to tear this argument apart.
So you're here today to do what exactly?
Well, I was hoping you would be able to help me, first and foremost, establish paternity
Okay.
at this point.
All right.
And
We
possibly
would definitely have to do that before any child support takes place.
Of course,
Okay.
of course.
All right. Is there anything else you want me to know before I move over to him?
No, that's pretty much it. I've just been doing everything on my own. In my heart of hearts, I know that he is the father. I have no doubt. I'm just needing assistance.
Okay. All right. All right. Sir,
Yes, Your Honor.
is what she's saying. Now, let me be clear in my questions because I just realized that I probably shouldn't have asked that question like that. Now, bypass all the 72-hour stuff that she talked about, right? Now, she's pregnant.
She was.
Okay, you were not involved in that process at all in
No.
terms of the pregnancy.
Look, let me just start off by saying that most of what she said is essentially true.
Okay.
Although there's some giant omissions in there and some things that you need to take into account to get the full picture.
Well, does it involve the 72-hour
So
thing?
we were.
She's behind bars, but does that mean she loses custody? Not necessarily. Courts focus on the child's best interests, not just past mistakes. The real question is whether this arrest affects her ability to parent. Meanwhile, Dad seems more interested in pointing fingers than proving he's the better caregiver. Should past mistakes define parental rights? Let's discuss.
We were involved approximately that amount of time. Yes,
Okay.
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't want to know any specific
don't
details
worry.
about that.
I'm not here to give you the details of it. I'm just here to tell you that we were in an intimate relationship on and off for about 72 hours, yes.
Okay. So, after you found out she was pregnant, what happened?
Well, first let me add some context to everything before I answer that, Your Honor. She works for the federal government. I'm a teacher. I'm a high school teacher. She
Okay.
makes significantly more money than I do. I make about $60,000 a year. I don't know the exact figure of her annual income, but I know it's a lot more than that. She's in far better position to support her daughter than I would be, and what she's asking for.
You said her daughter, so you truly don't believe this is your child?
I am willing to accept that it may be, but we've not done a DNA test. What she said about being only with one Caucasian man, I have no way of knowing if that's true. She's lied before to me. So don't take, she was honest with a lot of the stuff she said fairly, but here's a big thing she forgot to mention. I have a son of my own. I have a newborn son, and with my fiance.
Congratulations.
What does that have to do with this?
This is
Well,
what it
I allowed you
Okay.
the opportunity to speak. This is his time.
Yes,
And now I
ma'am.
asked you,
Yes,
was there
ma'am.
anything else you needed me to know before I moved over to
But I
him?
already know he's gonna push my buttons.
Okay, well, just sit there and don't let him push your buttons.
Okay.
That's the easy, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can do that.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
So
Mom found out. Dad cheated and took matters into her own hands. Now she's facing an assault charge. Legally, that's a major misstep. Instead of prioritizing co-parenting, both parents are locked in a toxic battle with their child stuck in the middle. Should personal drama impact custody rulings, or should the focus stay solely on parenting ability? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
I have a newborn son with my fiance, and I know that he's my son for sure. And I know, and
How do you know for sure?
Because he's
Well-
white.
Ma'am.
because the woman who gave birth to him has been with me and only me for the past 3 years now. That's how I know that he is my son. And he does, despite being a newborn, having a little newborn face, he does look like me. I can tell. So, but anyway. What she's asking for, she does not need financial compensation from me to support possibly our daughter. And the other factor she didn't take into consideration.
Wait a minute. Did I hear that right? Let me rewind.
Yeah, he said need.
I'm
sorry.
He thought the court wouldn't do a DNA test? Newsflash. If there's any doubt about paternity, the court isn't just taking your word for it. The law is black and white here. If the test returns positive, he's paying child support immediately. This is the moment when reality is about to hit hard.
Let me rewind that. You said she does not need money from you. So let me make sure I got that right.
Because she makes so much more than me.
Right. So even if it is your child,
Right.
she still doesn't need to get money from you?
In my opinion, this is what she's doing here right now has nothing to do with needing money. It has to do with jealousy. She's trying to interfere with my relationship with my new son and my fiance.
Baby, I care less about that, okay? Two things for certain, one for sure. I care less about that.
Excuse me? I thought we weren't going to allow him to push your buttons.
I left one button out. I'm
I've
sorry.
got buttons.
Well, I've gathered all my buttons and you ain't gonna push them.
Well, you
I've got a
know,
whole control panel.
excuse me, excuse me. The only
You're
person
so
that's
freaking
going to be
childish.
excuse me. The only person that's going to be pressing buttons up here is me.
I'm trying not to press his head.
Well, we're definitely not going to do that because then the bailiff will have to escort you out, and then I'll more than likely dismiss your case. So that wouldn't be a good thing, right? The both of you, ultimately, the both of you are here for one thing. You all want to find out if he is indeed the father of your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, sure.
Seems like a weird place to do that. I don't see a DNA kit anywhere nearby.
Oh, now
well,
you're
we do
challenging her
that. We do that in a different area.
Stupid.
We have.
Okay.
Excuse me. That wasn't very nice.
Well, it wasn't nice for him to dish your courtroom either. I'm just saying.
No,
Well-
no disrespect to your court, ma'am.
I don't take offense to that because I don't sit up and let people push my buttons often. All right. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to reset this pending DNA results. Now, if for any reason the child does come back, well, the DNA test does come back and you are the father, you will have to start paying